Hello viewer, welcome to Elimu TV where you watch and learn. This is your teacher Sally Ngware. Today we're going to talk about quantifiers, or what is popularly known as phrasal quantifiers. But before we start, I want you to talk to us. Our SMS number is 40007. Our Twitter handle is @ElimuTV_KE, and our Facebook page is Elimu TV. Now, I want us to talk about quantifiers. In most or often it's referred to as phrasal quantifiers, but maybe I'll explain why I prefer to call them quantifiers. Now, these are the objectives for today's lesson. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to define quantifiers, or basically state what quantifiers are. You should also be able to use appropriate quantifiers on both countable and uncountable nouns. Maybe we should start this lesson by previewing what we said about nouns some time back. We said that English nouns can either be countable or uncountable. Countable nouns can be counted the normal way and assigned numerical values, where we say this is 1, these are 2, these are 10, these are 20, these are 4, these are 8. So that's what we call assigning numerical values. Let's look at the example on our screen. We have 1 cup, and if they are more than 1, they acquire the plural form cups. So we have 3 cups. They are concrete, so they can be assigned numerical values. We can count. This is 1, these are 3. However, we have uncountable nouns which can't be counted in the normal way. For example, we can't say a sugar, we can't say a water, we can't say a flour, we can't say a milk. Now, in cases of uncountable nouns, we assign quantifiers. So, quantifiers are a way that has been devised to assign quantity to uncountable noun. For example, when we want to talk about flour, we can talk about a kilo of flour. When we talk about liquids, for example, soda, we can say 2 liters of Coke. You can say 1 liter of Coke or 1 liter of milk. We'll look at that as we move on. Let's look at more examples of quantifiers that are usually used to assign quantities to non-countable nouns. 1, we have much. For example, we can say there isn't much time left. So much is a quantifier. Next, we have a bit. For example, in a sentence, we can say push the chair towards the wall a bit, just a little bit, to measure the distance. The next quantifier is a little. We can say add a little sugar to the cake mix. Next, we have a large amount of. For example, a large amount of paint was used to finish the portrait. Learner, quantifiers are also used on countable nouns. We do not only use quantifiers on non-count nouns. We are saying that countable nouns can also be used with quantifiers. When this happens, numerical values are replaced by quantifiers. When we talk about 2 cups, when we talk about 10 people, when we talk about 6 cows, I want you to note the example on your screen. Talking about 10 cattle, instead of using the word 10, we can use a quantifier, a herd of cattle, maybe to replace 10. Example, we have many tourists arrived for the wild beast migration wonder. The word many is a quantifier. We have several. we can say in a sentence, several are feared dead following a terrorist attack in Somalia. Next we have, she packed a few clothes and left in a hurry. A few is another quantifier. A great number of students watch Elimu TV, which I believe is so. So a great number of is a quantifier. A few tents is all we needed for the camp, and a few is a quantifier. So all these highlighted words or phrases can be referred to quantifiers. Basically, they tell us how much. Remember, in how much, it can be how much countable nouns or how much uncountable nouns. Since we have said that quantifiers can be used both with countable, with uncountable, and both with countable and uncountable. Now, we have said that some quantifiers can be used with both countable and uncountable nouns. Let's look at these examples. In the first set of two sentences, we have people should consume less sugar and more fruits. I believe this is true. People should consume less sugar and more fruits. Now, sugar is uncountable. We can't say 1 sugar, 2 sugar, 3 sugar. So the quantifier less has been used with sugar. Next we have more fruits. Fruits are countable. We can say 1 fruit, 2 fruits, 3 fruits, but still we are using a quantifier more. Next we have, she brought more cups and less spoons. More cups used with countable nouns, cups, and less used with countable nouns, spoons. Let's move on. We have more examples. They evacuated all the flood victims, and B, they spent all the money. Flood victims is a phrase which is countable. Basically, these are nouns because they are victims, so they are countable since they are victims, the flood victims. And the quantifier all has been used with the countable, the flood victims. Next we have, she spent all the money. The noun here is the money, and it is uncountable. We can't say 1 money, 2 money, 3 money. We only talk about currency, or we use quantifiers. So quantifier all has been used or can be used both with countable nouns or uncountable nouns. Next we have, she bought enough tickets. The quantifier enough has been used with the countable noun tickets. In sentence B, there isn't enough salt in the food. The same quantifier enough has been used with the non-countable noun salt. What you're saying is, some quantifiers can be used both with countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Next we have quantifier no. In sentence A we have, no glasses were broken, glasses being countable nouns. In sentence B we have, she ordered tea with no sugar. Sugar is uncountable noun. You can't say 1 sugar, 2 sugar. So we are saying she ordered tea with no sugar. Again, quantifier no has been used with an uncountable noun. They didn't bring any milk. Any is the quantifier here, and it has been used to show how much milk. They didn't bring any. Milk being an uncountable noun. Next we have, the school didn't admit any student. student, a countable noun, being used with the quantifier any. So any is another quantifier that can be used both with countable and non-countable or uncountable noun. Next set of sentences, we have more wood and less blocks were recommended for the design. The design is on your screen. More wood and less blocks were recommended for the design. So more and less are quantifiers being used with countable nouns and can be used with non-countable nouns, as we see in sentence B. More play and less study is what they think school is. More play and less study is what they think school is. So more play is uncountable, and study too is uncountable. So we have the two quantifiers being used with uncountable nouns. Now let's look at other examples of quantifiers. We have a loaf of bread. We have a bunch of grapes. We have a bar of soap. Since we can't say one soap or two soaps or 10 soaps, we can only talk about one bar of soap, two bars of soaps, or 10 bars of soap. Remember, it's not 10 bar of soaps or 3 bar of soaps. It's 10 bars of soap or 3 bars of soap. Next, we have a tube of toothpaste, not a container. It's a tube of toothpaste. Next, we have a piece of advice. We have a gallon of gasoline. We have a tub of margarine, a roll of toilet paper, a jar of honey, a pinch of salt, a round of applause, a spoonful of sugar. Remember, these quantifiers or these nouns can also be described, or they have different entities, so that you'll find someone, instead of talking about a spoonful of sugar, one can talk about a kilo of sugar. Instead of talking about a pinch of salt, someone will talk about 2 kilograms of salt and such. As we continue with our examples of quantifiers, we have strands of hair, so that we don't have one hair, two hair. We can only have one strand of hair or 10 strands of hair. So we have strands of hair. We have panes of glass. We have articles of clothing. We have bolts of thunder. We have flashes of lightning. We also have rays of light. We have pieces of luggage. We have cobs of corn. We have bulbs of garlic. And we have dabs of paint. For your assignment, learner, I want you to complete the following sentences using the appropriate quantifiers. Complete the following sentences using the appropriate quantifiers. Maybe to assist you, let's look at number 1. Andrew added dash in his food. Now, what could be added in his food? That definitely would not be sugar. That would be salt. So, what is the quantifier of salt? We would say Andrew added a pinch of salt in his food. So, number 2, 3, 4, and 5 will be left to you. Now, before I leave once again, I want you to write to us. We value your comments. Our SMS number is 40007. Our Twitter handle is at elimu_ke. and our Facebook page is Elimu TV. It has been my pleasure. My name is Sally Ngware. Till next time, keep it Elimu TV.